everyone, welcome to Watercolor Wednesday. I am Bonnie Krebs, creator of Watercolor the Art Impressions Way, and I'm back this week again with another of our 2020 release. This is our winter release, and I'm going to put together another little composition using those new stamps and some old stamps too. So this week we're going to do this little shop. This actually comes in a set of two of these little shops with some little words so you can kind of dress them up or personalize them yourself. So we're going to use this one right here. We're also going to use one of these little lamps from the lamp post set. I love these little accessories. You sort of put these in at the end and they don't take much at all. So just stamp it, add a little bit of color, and you're good to go. Same with these little garden posts. We're going to use one of these. So let's see, which one should we use here? How about the little bird? You could use any of these in a composition like this. In the foliage set, so this is Watercolor Foliage Set 3. We're going to use this one here, and even though it's a foliage, we're going to use it as a flower. So that'll be really fun. And then we're going to use the little grass stamp. And that is it. So it doesn't take very much to put these together. And I hope you like this project. Super fun. Okay, so let's start out with the basic image. That's where we always start out. And we're going to ink that up. Let me just adjust this here. We're going to ink this up with two colors, so a dark brown and a blue. So this is typical for most projects. We ink them with two colors, and then we're going to stamp it off so that we don't have too much color. And when there's a lot of lines like this, it's easy to get too much color on here, so we don't want a muddy image. And that's why it's really important to stamp it off. So I'm inking it in two colors, the dark brown and the dark blue. And then I'm going to just stamp it off on a piece of scrap paper. And then stamp it onto my watercolor paper. So right in the middle. And that will work perfectly. Okay, so let's get going. We're going to start by pulling the color out of the lines. And I'm just going to dip my brush and pinch it off and then drag this color out of the lines. Make sure you pinch your brush off really good. You don't want to get too much water on here, and you can see these lines are tiny, so we don't want to lose the lines, and we don't want to blur them out too much. So I'm just kind of working my way around underneath these little planters, and you can see there's no line across here where these planters are, and that's because we're going to fill them with foliage and flowers, and we don't want to have to fight those lines on there. So I'm just going to draw a line underneath now this little sign and the little window, and just kind of work my way around. On the little chimney, you can see all these stones, so we're going to kind of go underneath those because they are contours, so we want them to kind of pop out a little bit. And then over here on the side, it's going to be a little bit darker. And you can see I'm not using very much water at all. And on the side, you can see the side of these little stairs. Those are going to be darker. Okay, and that's a good start. So let's go ahead and go on from here, and we're going to add some color now to this little shop. And I'm going to actually mix a couple of colors. So this is the warm blue 526, and I'm going to mix some gray with it just to kind of tone it down a little bit. And just dip my brush and just mix these colors together. It's kind of fun on a palette to mix colors and try to find something new. So I'm going to now brush this color on, and I'm just going to brush it onto the sign. Just straight lines here. Try not to get it all colored in solid. Always try to leave a little bit of white on here. And I'm going to add some color now to these little planters. Just like this. And just put that color on here. Underneath, we're going to have a shadow under here, so we can pull that color underneath. And then this one up here too. So always dip my brush and then pinch it off. Okay, let's keep going with this color. A little gray and blue, and put a little bit underneath the eaves here. A little bit of color on here. This would be way darker underneath here, so we can add that. This is darker on the side and on the side here. And this little awning, we can just make it a little decorative by just adding some stripes. Just like this. And that is starting to look like a little shop. Okay, I'm going to add a little green now to this and change the color a little more and do that on the, add this to the door. I'm just gonna brush this color in. So you can see that really changed the color. It's really fun to mix colors, and some of my palettes, I always hate to wash my palettes. I just throw them in a drawer, so I've got so many of them, but some of them have some really cool colors that I just love, and so I hate to wash them off. But it's kind of fun to experiment with your markers and see what colors you can create. Let's add something decorative on here too. Okay, that looks pretty good. I think we are pretty good with this little shop. So I'm going to add some darker blue now to my palette. And I want to kind of work out that gray that's on there. So I'm just going to take a little of this color now and add some detail into the windows. So I don't want to go down too far with these window panes because I am going to put flowers in here, so I don't want to have to stamp too much over the window. So just brush these in. They don't have to be perfect. And then let's get this little window up here also. Okay, that looks good. And let's go ahead and go on to the bottom. So I'm going to use my little Post-it tape and kind of set it over to the side. I'm going to start out by putting some grass into these little window boxes, and I'm just going to kind of stamp it onto the top, just like this, and then over to the side. And I'm just going to kind of pull that color up and out. You can use any green for this. Okay, so now I'm going to use my Post-it note, and I'm just going to cover to the top of that grass, and I'm going to use that little leaf now, and I'm going to do the tips with a purple, even though this is just a little branch. I'm going to do the tips in the purple and then the little branch in the green, and stamp this in here a few times. And then I'm just going to move this over and do it again over here. So the stem, green, and the tips where the little leaves are, purple. And just stamp it in there a bunch of times. And then over here, same thing. And actually we can probably just hit that just with the blooms. There's lots of little flowers and grasses and vines that you can put in these little planters. They're so fun. Switch out the colors and you can change the look so much. And I think it would be fun to send this to someone and kind of personalize it. If you have a favorite coffee shop that you go to, or maybe they own a little beauty salon or something like that, you could personalize it and put their name on the sign. It'd be so cute. Okay, let's do the top one now. And I think I'll just leave that just with the grass. And then I'm just gonna kind of muddy this up a little bit, even though it's white. You never want to just leave it white. Always want to make sure we get a little color on there. And I'm just going to add a little more blue to the side, just to show that shadow and these little steps. And here on the door. And I'm going to take my my brown and use my fine tip and just color it in like that. You can also take your fine tip and just wherever you think that it would be really dark, let's put these little nail holes back in the corners of the windows. It's always a good place to add a little dark accent. Okay, so we've got our little shop. It's looking pretty good. Dragging some of this color out now to the bottom. And I just need to add some color now to the roof. And I'm going to do that with my brown. And I'm just kind of mixing it in here with all these other colors. And just brushing this on. Remember the top, you always want to make sure that you're seeing that highlight on the top. And then just brush this in. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and add just a little bit more color into the chimney. Pull some of this color out. And it's starting to look pretty good. So let's add our detail into the sign here. So there's 3 little words that come with this set, but you could also freehand something in there. This one says sweet or sweets. So we can make this little candy shop. And I'm going to use my positioner because I want to make sure I get that into the right place. And that looks pretty good there. I think that's good. And I can just tap on that and stamp that right in there. Okay, so let's add a little grass to the side and then we can put our posts in. And I'm going to use that light green again and just put a little of this on each side. Add a little water to it. And I'm just going to pull some of this color now to the outside, just to give us a little background. Just pull a little of this shadow out. And let's add a little color now to the sky. Just lightly. Okay, so let's put in the little lamppost, this one right here. And I'm going to just ink it in 2 colors. So the brown and the light blue. And I'm just going to lightly stamp that off, just to make sure that I don't have it too dark. And I think I can just eyeball it in here. And then just pull this color out from the edge here on the top. And then we can just take some of this blue and just add a little color. Make sure to leave that highlight on here. And nothing, you don't have to add any water to the post at all. I think I will add the little detail to the roof. And I think I can just guess on this too. And maybe one more thing. Little garden post. This is the little bird. And this one too. I can do it in the brown and the blue. And you could actually ink these in lots of different colors. You could just do them in black too. That would be really cute. And there we go. Let's just put a little shadow on here. And we are about finished with this little project. Sign and date. And I hope you enjoyed this project. So much fun. One more little detail. Let's put a little shadow right here where that just a little shadow. Okay, we are finished with this. I hope you like this project. Thanks for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked it. And I'll see you all next week.